Carson, can you see my screen?
Yes, you're good.
Cool. Thanks. Let me do one more thing here. Get the double screens going. Okay, cool. So I'll tell you this really quick. Today, I'm kind of calling this presentation back to the basics because that's what it is. That's what I think we should be doing in August, is not reinventing the wheel, but just going back to fundamentals. Part of the reason that I decided this was valuable this time of year is because I looked at our P&L and other metrics from my business for like the past 4 years. And August has always been a dip. I think COVID was kind of an anomaly, but even if I go back to 2019, there was always August for us on a lot of the charts I look at just kind of dips. Revenue takes a little flop. Profitability takes a little flop. Sales takes a little flop. Like I think the whole tenacity and tempo of the company takes a little dip in August for a variety of reasons. It's the dog days of summer here in Michigan. Obviously, lots of people are taking vacation. There's the field staff may be tired, maybe worn out. It's been hot. The office staff is probably a little worn out, a little less energized than normal. And lots of people are taking vacation, and our clients are also, kids are about to go back to school. It's kind of a hazy time of year for us. And for me, it's also kind of an unclear time of what do I do as a leader? What do I prioritize right now? What's the initiative? What's the battle cry that I need to be telling my people? And so this year, this month for us, it's back to the basics. So I'm going to hit on a bunch of stuff today that I think is valuable and important for you as a landscape business owner or leader to focus on to kick ass the second half of the year and have a strong finish here. So first, many of you have sat through this, many of you know me, but I'll tell you anyway who I am to give myself a little credibility. My name is Chester Buczynski. I own a lawn and landscape business here in Michigan that I started from scratch. I've spent probably over $100,000 now on personal development, mentorship of my own. I've read hundreds of books, business books, and I've gotten to spend time with a lot of people in the industry. Here's my mentor, Jonathan Potoshnik. Many of you know the Lawn Care Millionaire. I've consulted with companies all across the US, tens, probably hundreds now, or well over 100 anyway, of lawn and landscape companies and other businesses in the US. Here's a shot of my headquarters. We got a 10-acre facility here in Michigan. And we've been on the Inc. 5000 list now for the past 4 years running. So fastest growing privately held companies in the US. That's not public companies. This is privately held, self-funded companies. We've been going 4 years straight. We've been on that list. So I wouldn't tell you about something if I hadn't done it or didn't know what I was talking about. And I'm really passionate about business. It's the thing that I've spent the most time and energy on in my life working on. And I like sharing things I've learned with other people because I skipped a lot of years of trial and error by getting a good mentor of my own. So I like to kind of pay that gift forward. So into the meat and potatoes, I'm here today to talk about properly building your business to save you time and money. I think sometimes we as business owners overcomplicate. We're also usually visionary type people. We're ideas. We got a big idea. We got a big plan. We got a new initiative. And this time of year, especially, I'm convinced that going back to the basics is a really sound, really prudent way to work on your business. So first, I'm going to paint a little picture for you. In horse racing, there is a term that is referred to as winning by a nose. And it's quite literally, as you can see in the picture, when one horse is about a nose length ahead of the next horse. And races all the time are decided this way. They're won by a nose. Very rarely does a first, second, third place horse come in a horse's length ahead of the other jockey. They win by a nose. And I think that as business owners, it's our responsibility to our people and to ourselves and to our organization to win in business. We need to win by all means necessary, as long as they're ethical. And part of the interesting thing that I've started to see in my business is that when you win, even by a nose, you get disproportionate rewards. So in horse racing, here's some payouts. This is the actual payout of the Kentucky Derby prize money. in 2023. So look at the spread there. First place got 1.86 million. Second place got 600,000. That's 1/3. So from first to second, you're getting a 66% cutoff. You're going down to 1/3 of the first place horse. Then you get cut in half again if you come in third place. And fourth place horse gets, what would that be? Less than 10% of what the first place horse got. And that's only most of these races are decided by a nose. They're decided by a very small margin of win or loss. And the same is true in business, that most of the rewards, the disproportionate profit and success and flexibility and security and free time go to the owners that are winning in their market. This is why you talk to a smaller provider in your market and they're like, man, this sucks. I want to get out of business. It's hard. People call off. My equipment won't work. I'm struggling. It's just a battle. It's just I know firsthand experience, it's an absolute battle to get a business off the ground. And this is part of the reason why, is because the people that are ahead are getting all the rewards. They're getting the economies of scale, the best employees, the best customers. They've got the best reputation, and they can just stomp you because they're ahead. They're getting more of the rewards. So today, I'm trying to give you some ideas that will move you towards being in first place in your market. So first, let's talk financials. I don't know the size of all the businesses on the call. I know a few of them here. I do know, though, that regardless of the size of your business, this metric right here is a make or break for you. There's not a business in this industry that's having good profitability and disproportionate reward that isn't watching their dollars per man hour. Okay, you have got to watch dollars per man hour. It's your financial driver in lawn, landscape, pest, fertilization, irrigation service, snow, design build, whatever. Your driver is dollars per man hour. How much are you billing for every hour that your technicians are in the field? Number two is AR. We're going through it right now. We're growing so fast and we have such a massive accounts receivable balance. And I know it, right? And we're aware of it as a team and we're working at it. But let's go back to basics here in August, right? What are we doing? We're watching our dollars per man hour. We're collecting our money. We're making an initiative internally. What do we need to do to go collect the money that's owed to us? Especially after a busy spring in this industry. If you kick butt this spring, you got some people owing you some money, and I guarantee you've been so busy selling that you probably haven't looked at it in a while. And again, we're CEOs, we're business owners, we're usually more geared towards selling that next job than we are going and collecting the money from what we did last month. So make sure you keep your eyes on this. This is back to the basics. We do the job, we bill it, we collect it. Next one, progress towards your budget or your sales goal. Simple math, I beat this horse all the time. If you did $1 million last year in revenue, and on August 1st, you were at 600,000 in revenue, let's say. Well, if this year your goal is 2 million, you dang well better be at 1.2 million on August 1st. That same 60% number. That is such a massive telling indicator on how you're going to end your year, is if you look right now at your progress towards your goal. If you build a budget to have a $2 million company and you only get to 1.8 or 1.7, that can massively hurt your bottom line. It can even wipe out your bottom line. Because as we know, most of the profit, most of the margin is at the very end. It's those dollars you're jamming in October, November, even September, right? You're past your break-even point. Every single additional dollar you get past your break-even point is super profitable. So you need to know now, are we ahead or behind on our sales goals? Next one is to review cash flow. It's early, right? It ain't winter yet, but regardless of whether or not you do snow or you're in a 12-month market, whatever, there's a lull for everyone at some point in their year. And it's a good exercise to be paying attention to your cash flow. So this is short-term cash flow, obviously. payroll, bills upcoming, major material orders we've got to make, et cetera. But it's also long-term. How are we going to be, where are we going to be sitting in December and January and February? Let's ensure that we have strong cash flow going into the fall and going into, for most of us, what is an off season. Pay your quarterly taxes. Do not forget to pay your quarterly taxes. It's one of the IRS dirty dozen. If you pay them and then you don't pay them, even because stuff has changed, talk to your accountant, make sure that you're doing right by Uncle Sam. And this time of year is a great time to check in on that stuff, make sure that it's all being properly documented and applied. And last, talk to your banker. You want to have a good relationship with your banker. I mean, business is driven by relationships, right? So you want to make sure that those relationships are maintained or upheld. And if you're having a great year, you're starting to really put some money down at the bottom line, perfect time to talk to your banker about increasing your credit lines, maybe getting you some additional financial products. I'm sure everybody's been having a 5% money market now for the past year or two or whatever, but I just got into a instrument where we took a chunk of our cash, we put it into a highly liquid, highly secure, interest-bearing account with my bank, and we're making a bunch of money now off of our cash pad, more than we were before, because I called my banker and said, hey, how's it going? What can you do? I told them we're having a great year. I told them we had some excess cash, and they put us into an instrument that's now making us money, and it's liquid and it's secure. I'm talking to my bankers about increasing credit lines, right? There's all sorts of opportunities coming down the pike for all of us, be it real estate or buying other companies or buying equipment or all these other exciting opportunities we get as business owners. But it's not something, it's something that you build onto, and you're just constantly massaging those relationships. So just, again, what did I say is this whole session is about, is like back to the basics, back to the simple stuff we can do so we can beat our competition by a nose and get the disproportionate reward in our market. This is another one of them. Talk to your banker relationships. See what you can do to strengthen your financial position. Let's talk about operations. Number one, training and development. I think it's a Marty Grunner quote, or he got it from somebody, I don't know. Training is an investment, not an expense. Do not see it as, oh gosh, we got to pay everybody an extra hour to stand around and listen to me talk or whatever. No, you're investing an hour of growth and development into your people when you train them. So especially now in August, where maybe you're not buried. I mean, we're pretty slammed over here at my place. You might be too, but chisel out some time on a rain day or a morning or an evening or whatever. Chisel out some time to train and pour into your people. Not only does it make them more efficient at their job and make them more fulfilled, makes them more likely to stay with you because they feel like, wow, I'm learning new skills here. I'm evolving as a human being. So make a little initiative this month to do a little training, even if it's a tailgate talk on Monday morning to talk about a safety topic. Put some training on the books. Another little bonus here is if you can show off the career path at your company, that's a major retention play. So you could make some kind of a graphic or a diagram, like a career tree, right? All the careers, all the things that your passion could evolve into at the business. I say it all the time, our industry is so cool because we touch a lot more things than a lot of businesses do, right? We're outside, we're inside, we've got inventory, we've got financials, we've got training, we're sending technicians out every day, we have a fleet, we've got sales and marketing, we've got HR, we've got finance. We have very well-rounded businesses, hopefully, that have a ton of stuff going on, a ton of moving parts. So if you sell that to your employees, like, hey, look, who knows where you want to go one day with your career, but there's probably a spot for you here, okay? Because there's all sorts of openings that come open into a landscaping company as you grow that could be interesting for anyone. So the more you beat that drum, the more likely you are to hang on to your good people and to cast the vision to them of why it's a great place to work. A career path can really or a diagram or graphic can really show that off. Another key here is to highlight the people that have climbed the ranks, okay? So you've got a guy who started as a worker and now he's in sales, or he started as a team leader, or started in the bottom of the rung and now he's running a crew, he's a foreman, whatever. Tell those stories, highlight that thing. It could even just be at a quick meeting. At my company, we meet every Monday morning, all hands on deck, everybody shows up and we talk through some stuff that we've got going on at the company. We highlight some people, right? We highlight David. David's a manager. David started out weed whipping. Sell that dream and cast that vision to your people, because it's a heck of a lot easier to build a winning company when you aren't turning your staff over every other day. Communication. In a nationwide poll of thousands of businesses, I think it was like 3,000 businesses with an average of 10 employees interviewed at each business, whatever, in every industry you can imagine, the number one complaint amongst everybody was communication. That's like the most popular thing to complain about. My job, they suck at communication. I was just talking to guys today. I got some tenants in my yard. They have a $40 million deck company. Oh yeah, the communication sucks. If you got more than 10 people on your team, you have to deliberately prioritize communication and continually even talk about communication. What could we do to communicate better? Do we need another platform like Slack or Crew? Do we need a suggestion box? Do we need a monthly meeting where we do a town hall meeting, right, with all the leadership so people can get their questions answered? What can we do to break that cycle of sucky communication? Okay. And this goes to the clients too. Let me actually just go to basics with your employees for a minute. If you're not reviewing your employees at least once a quarter, miss. That's a fail. If you're not talking to your employees in the morning when they walk through the gate, saying hello and giving some high fives, that's a miss. If you're not constantly updating your office team on where does the operations schedule sit right now, you're not updating your sales team on where does the schedule sit right now, that's a miss. Those are all misses. You need to be just broadcasting information all the time. Now let's talk communication to clients. Single biggest play that we do at my company that continues to work is we just pick up the phone and call our customers. We service commercial distribution centers. We service municipalities, local governments. We do churches and doctors' offices and schools. And we do Sally Homemaker. We do $1 million homes. We do $500,000 homes in all different markets all around here. And every single one of them is glad to hear from you. When I pick up the phone and call, it's always a positive thing, right? Get on the phone and call your customers. Maybe that's an initiative you could have in August. Let's just pick up the phone every day. I want everybody in my office to call 10 people. I don't care what you're calling for. Just call, say hello, see how the service is. And if it's a weird instance where they aren't happy to hear from you and they're in a hurry, oh, I can't talk right now. Great, cool. Have a great day. Call us if you need us, right? At least you've planted the seed and put your foot forward to them as to firming up the relationship. So I skipped ahead one. Now I just pop that out. Client reach outs. That's what I'm talking about. This is why I said August is back to basics, right? This is not rocket science. And building a kick-ass business that can provide for you and all of your people really well, it's not rocket science in this industry, but it's back to those basic things. Communicating, training your staff, reaching out to your clients. Let's talk gamification. Okay. Show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. If you take everybody out to dinner and you're buying, they're probably getting steak. If you ask a hairdresser if you need a haircut, they're probably saying yes. If you ask a mechanic if your car looks okay, they're saying, hey, you should probably do a tune-up, flush the fluids, give me an oil change, right? It's the incentive for them. And so incentivize your people, even with some micro stuff in the month of August. What do we notice in August? Efficiency goes down. Well, what are we doing in the month of August? We're making a game about efficiency. We're making some games in the office about energy and proactive reach outs to our clients. We're turning it into a game. That's who doesn't like having a game to play. Last one in this bucket, safety, quality, and efficiency, okay? You got to be driving on these three metrics in this order in your operations all the time. Safety is number one. Obviously, you don't want to compromise safety to get higher quality or efficiency. Safety has got to be metric number one in your company, in the operations side, and so on and so forth. You don't want to sacrifice efficiency, you don't want to sacrifice quality to go more efficiently. So they stack in this order, but if you're doing a safe job as you can, as high a degree of quality as you can, now it's time to hammer that efficiency. These are all things that in this bucket, you can train on it, you can gamify it, you can communicate about it. Safety, quality, efficiency. And I'll give you one more comment that I learned years ago is that a lot of times you aren't going to find team leaders or foremen. Well, I can't find any team leaders. Well, start farming them within. For us, it was FERT applicators. No, we can't find any FERT applicators. Well, let's farm them. We know a lot of lawn guys who know their way around equipment and they know their way around client properties. Let's train them on the books on how to become a FERT applicator, farm them internally, and boom, all of a sudden problem solved. So you need to build people. You aren't just going to find them all the time. Next, one of my favorite topics. Maybe you don't hold the title of salesperson, but if the business you are in requires you to deal with people, then you, my friend, are in sales. Zig Ziglar quote. Okay. We deal with businesses ranging from 50 grand a year to 50 million a year, right? They're not all in our peer group, but we do personally consult with some massive companies that are way bigger than my own. And the point remains the same. Okay. Regardless of the company, everybody in the organization needs to be trained on sales. Okay. Your CSR is picking up the phone, right? They got to be able to sell somebody who's calling about a job application. Your mechanic out there in the shop, they need to be able to sell your vendors on why they should get first dibs on parts runs, or they should get first dibs. They should get better agreements and arrangements with your vendors. Your guys in the field, right? I say it all the time is that every morning we got 60 salespeople driving out of our gate, right? So let's show them a little bit about how they can do better. And this also lines up perfectly with the lull that a lot of us experience in the summer. It seems like this year, not as many people are getting that lull. Knock on wood, we aren't, but in general, stuff slows down a little bit in summer in most service businesses. And so the 60 salespeople I talked about, that's all our field staff. They drive out of the gate every morning to go do their jobs. They should have some kind of basic sales training. It'll help keep that pipeline full. So let's go to some sales stuff. One, test your systems. This is so basic. Look yourself up on Google and fill out the form. Look on your website and call the phone number. What happens? Call all the phone numbers. If you're like me, you got multiple phone numbers, call them all and test them. You might be in for a sore reality that one of your phone numbers doesn't work, or the web form that you fill out on the website on this second or third page in doesn't go anywhere. So go right back to square one, back to the basics, test all your stuff. Number two, a little more sophisticated, review and refine your sales process. Write your sales process down on a piece of paper. What happens when somebody calls your company and how do they get handled? And then have all your salespeople write it down and see if they write down the same thing, because it may be entirely different. So the way to get improvement in a systems-based business is to have everybody following the same system. And then if you tweak one line item on it, you change one little thing that you're doing, you can actually measure whether or not that tweak did anything. So strongly encourage you, and I'm not trying to, I said back to basics, that's a little complicated, but at least get it out and follow it. And I'm hoping you don't get wrapped around the axle and spend a week, trying to understand your sales process. It should really be simple, but write it down on a piece of paper, check it out. You may find something that is either an opportunity or an issue that you have with the process. You can fix it now, because a lot of people are thinking, man, season's already baked, right? It's only halfway done, people. For most of us, if your season's something like March, April to whatever, November, December, about halfway. So there's a lot of opportunity left, a lot of low-hanging fruit here to go back to the basics and kick some ass. Next one, train and role play. Gosh, If you're like me and you record your phone calls, go listen to some of those recordings. You might throw up in your mouth a little bit. Let's train, let's role play. Let's get with our people in a Monday morning meeting and just play through and have some fun times role playing some sales, role playing an angry customer, role playing an opportunity for an upsell. We do it all the time. Once your people get comfortable with it, it's amazing how much they can improve in a short window. Here's that big C word again, communicate. It is your responsibility, unless you have a sales manager, it needs to be somebody's responsibility in your office to communicate everyone's progress towards their goals. Humans are goal-striving individuals, especially A players. Want to know, how am I doing? How am I stacking up? Am I going to hit my goal or not, right? So there's nothing worse than having a sales team that doesn't know what the goal is. They don't know how they're moving towards that goal. So it's your responsibility to get in there, measure it, figure it out, and communicate with them. Here's how you're doing. Okay? Involve everyone in training. I said this in the beginning. Everyone in your company needs to know how to talk to people, except maybe the finance team that hides there in the back with all the windows shut and never gets sun. As a joke, they need to know too. Involve everyone. Bring everybody in. Do some training. Even the base level, we train our guys. When a customer or a stranger is near you on the job, shut off your machine. Turn off the blades on your lawnmower, right? Take your sunglasses off, idle it down, wave, look at them in the eye. We teach people how to shake hands. It's all the simple stuff, back to basics. When somebody's near you on a machine, shut it off, take off your sunglasses and look at them, smile, okay? Involve everyone in that. And lastly, third-party touch. This, for us, is going back to basics. We have a strategy at our company where everyone's following up on estimates. So if Carson sends out a proposal for a job, follows up and calls them and emails them and texts them and does the thing and doesn't hear anything for a while, he'll bounce it to me. I'll call him. Hey, Joe, I'm Carson's manager. He told me about that estimate he gave you. He wanted me to call you and see if you had any questions about it, right? Or I'll say, hey, Joe, I'm following up. I'm checking in on that estimate Carson sent you. How's he doing for you? Did he answer all your questions? You'd be amazed the conversion rate you get when you send other people after those estimates from a different angle. Maybe you have a male who wrote it up, send a female to follow up. There's all sorts of stuff you can do there. I'll tell you one funny story too that I heard years ago at a conference. This sales organization, who I won't name, had loads, just a big, multi-state organization, had loads of people that were cold leads in the back of their database. Leads that had been followed up on 30 plus times or whatever, right? And what they would do is they would get a brand new salesperson in and they would give them that list, but they wouldn't show them any of the notes of, hey, we followed up on this guy 30 times and tried all these different things. They would just hand them, hey, here's a list of leads for you to call today. And the new salesperson would do remarkably well. He would close stuff that people had been following up on for 6 months. He would pop in and just close it on the first call. Why? Because they didn't have that baggage, that preconceived notion that the sale isn't going to close. They just went in there blind, like, oh, cool, great, some leads to call. Called them, pounded on them, and they would close sales. So it's one more, that's like a perfect illustration of third-party touch and why it's so beautiful. Because who knows why that person didn't buy or accept your estimate? Well, hey, send somebody else at them. Send somebody from a different angle. Next one. Wow, did you hear that, Carson? Thunder. There is a massive, violent thunderstorm blowing out outside my window. That was like just shook the building with that thunder.
I thought you were just hungry or something, but
Now that too, I am hungry. It's 12:34 here. I gotta wrap it up. I got a bunch of slides left, a handful of them anyhow. So structure. There's an out of focus picture of what appears to be a bridge of some sort, okay? This is something that I have shared many times. You may have heard it, but I'm gonna share it again. This is one huge and common mistake that I see in service businesses of all kinds, particularly lawn and landscape businesses. I see this in like 90% of businesses I talk to. So what happens in these businesses? Here's the example I'll give you, okay? You got a project manager who does sales. So we all start off our business and finally get that one really good person who can like do it all, right? See, we all have one, at some point you get the person who's like, man, this guy's awesome. He can sell, he can run a crew, he can manage a crew. The awesome person we find, okay? So this person's ends up in a position where they're selling jobs and then they're managing the jobs. And he sees that his backlog is getting low. He or she sees the backlog is getting low. So they flip over to sales. Whoa, I got to sell. I got to get more jobs in the pipeline here. They take their eye off operations. And then they sell a bunch of jobs and then they look back at operations and quality's starting to suffer, right? The crews are losing efficiency, customers are unhappy, there's some callbacks happening, this and that. And they flip over, oh my gosh, I gotta fix operations. And they pivot back over to operations and get all that running again and dial it in, fix the problems. And then you see what happens, right? They get the crews organized and running and then they look back, wow, we're behind on sales again. And it's a vicious cycle that never ends with people that are in both the sales silo and the operations silo of business, because they have two very different priorities that pull them in two very different directions. And the company usually can never hit its stride. You can never really get where you're cruising when you have too many people doing that. You can never fire on all cylinders because you're always yo-yoing back and forth between sales and production. In the beginning, you have to, I get it, right? But in some way, we all have this. It's an install foreman that does estimates. It's a project manager that sells, or a sales guy that double checks quality, or whatever. There's so many examples of this conflicting role. And like I said, it's kind of a necessary evil in the beginning. But as soon as possible, you need to get your company to a structure like this. This is the priority of where you need to get. You need the best possible players in both buckets. You need the most strong, capable salespeople and strong, capable operations people. And the role of sales is to sell as much work as humanly possible. The role of operations is to produce as much work as humanly possible. And they both get in their lane and run 100 miles an hour. And then what a CEO does is they make sure everybody plays nice in the sandbox together. Okay. And of course, these two, the sales and operations are talking all the time. They're meeting and communicating and making sure that the promises were being made by sales are being kept and vice versa, right? They're working together, don't get me wrong, but they all have very different priorities. And the CEO or COO or general manager, whatever, of the company, make sure that they're in sync. And this generates synergy where they're almost trying to outdo each other. Right, I'll outsell you, I'll outproduce you, and they're A players and they're charging, and the CEO keeps it in check. You will be amazed what can happen once you get your company this way. And I think that we talk a lot about people who are trying to get to the $5 million point in business. This to me is one of the big top 5 of like how you need to get it eventually, as soon as possible, really, to make it work. The other byproduct of this is that guy who is awesome and can do it all, well, you're going to burn him out eventually. If he's in charge of sales and operations, he's yo-yoing all the time. So what you want to do is start to steer them in one direction or the other. If you're in that position, hey, Dave, what do you like? What do you like most about your job? Well, I really love selling and dealing with customers. Okay, great. Well, then my responsibility as the CEO is to find somebody for Dave who can do operations, right? Start to steer him, because the person in your company who can do it all, they don't realize this either. They just think it's their job. And they're like, oh, yeah, I just go and do my job every day. And then one day their job burns them out and they don't know why. And you don't know why. Well, why it is because you're having them do two different things that are at odds. And it's super stressful and not sustainable long-term. one more benefit I'll give you of this structure of a company is that when Dave, do it all Dave, quits or burns out or whatever happens and Dave is gone, what are you hiring for now? They're like, oh, I need to post a hiring ad and replace Dave. Well, I need a project manager who can install work. They know their plant types. They can also sell. They can collect the job when it's done. Like, I need a unicorn, right? I need this do it all Dave to come back. I need a new one at my company. I lucked into it. I found Dave. I kept promoting him, giving him more responsibility over the years. He's gone. Now I just need I need a jack of all trades. It's a lot easier to say, I'm hiring for a project manager, right? Or I'm hiring for an assistant manager, or I'm hiring for a landscape salesperson. Once you structure this out, you can then hire people that it's actually a job, right? A do-it-all, jack of all trades is something you luck into. It's not usually a job title on a resume. So I strongly encourage you, this isn't exactly on the theme of back to basics, but this is just something that everybody on this call should be marching towards, because this is the way to really get it right, in my opinion, in most service businesses. Sure, there are exceptions, examples like, a lot of HVAC or plumbing companies will have a technician who can sell. When they get to the job, they help guide the client to a solution, they sell it or whatever, right? There are exceptions, but my overarching opinion, and it's been proven to be true many times, is that this is the idea of where you should head with your org chart. Okay, next up, culture. I'm nearly done. I have like 3 or 4 more slides left. I'll do some Q&A at the end. This one, culture, lead by example, okay? For August, for me, I find myself getting a little complacent in August too. And what is the priority here is to lead by example, right? You have to be the one to bring the energy into your organization. How you dress, how you groom, how you talk, how you show up, how you treat people, how you communicate. If you want that bar to be leveled up, usually comes down to you, okay? So let's level up the professionalism. Let's up the ante in organizations this month and go from what I see as kind of a dud month to a dominant month where we take market share and we grow as individuals, personally, professionally, and financially. That's why I encourage you to make August the month to personally raise the bar. Couple more. Incentives. This is a way you can help up that bar, right? 90% of top performing companies use incentive programs. That stat's a little vague, but I think it's probably true. I talked about it earlier. You can make stuff so fun and so interesting in your company if you just have a little competition, a little whiteboard, right? A little game, a little incentive with a visible leaderboard that's showing there at all times. Keep it fresh. We're doing it all the time over here, and it's a way to get people sparked up and jazzed up over something that might not be very interesting until you put it into a game. And this, by the way, applies to every department in your company can play a game, right? They can all have an incentive. It's fun. That's based on their metric, their priority as a business person. I got 2 more for you. Managing the team. Still got me, Carson? Thumbs up?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay, my internet dipped there for a blip, but it looks like I survived. Managing the team, okay? Number 1, I've been hitting on it all session long, is communication, right? It's your responsibility as a leader to proactively communicate and facilitate communication in your organization. Number 2, accountability. It's your responsibility to push accountability all the way through your teams with everybody in the organization, that they're getting stuff done that they said they'd get done when they said they would get it done, right? Accountability starts at the top. Number 3 is goals, okay? August is a dull month. Let's have some goals. What is it? How many Google reviews can we get? Or how many dollars per man hour can we drive? Or how low can we get our accounts receivable? Whatever it is, get with your people, put some fun goals in place. We're having a weight loss challenge in my office, right? Because it'll carry over into being better people in general. We're doing a big, anybody wants to participate? We're having a big weigh-in and we're having a weight loss challenge. Put some goals out there. get your people striving in a positive direction. Quick and direct action is the last one. So many issues in business just come down to doing it. The work needs doing, right? I keep hearing that. The work needs doing. It's not rocket science. We need to get in here with quick, direct, decisive action and just get stuff done every single day this month. Got one more slide. I'm going to Q&A. Let me show you really quick. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this call, we have a peer group. It's called Green Industry Masterminds. At least one or two of the members are on this call. And this is a premier networking and education group, okay? I used to be in a peer group and it closed and I missed it. And so I said, well, I'll start my own. So the idea here is that we take your company from good to great. You got a good company, we'll take it to great. You just got to jump in with us, jump into the community and take what we say and apply it. We meet 4 times per month live. Sometimes we have a guest speaker. Sometimes we share content. Carson is on this call. He is the other owner of the peer group, facilitator. He was part of a company in Arizona that went from 3 million to 10 million in 3 years. He was heavily involved in that company and brings a lot of value to the table. So sometimes he'll be the one delivering those meetings. So we meet every week via Zoom. We have guest speakers and industry experts, and it's an opportunity for you to network, right? Nobody else really understands what it's like to have a business except a business owner or a high level, somebody who's been in business at a very high level. They get it, right? Your family, your friends, a lot of them, if they're like mine, they just don't even get it. They don't get what you do. So it's a good place to be. It's a good place where you can network. When you join, you get access to our full library of content, right? We've been doing this for a couple of years now. We got a ton of recorded meetings, templates, all sorts of sheets and information, designs, all kinds of stuff that you get access to at day one. You can apply it to your business, use it how you see fit. We have a private Facebook group, and we also migrated to a new platform called School. We have an ROI guarantee. So basically, if you get in here and you don't think that the membership is paying for itself, we'll give you all your money back. Pretty straightforward. We got a free special gift for new members. Can't tell you what it is. And we also give you a one-on-one strategy session. So when you join, we put you through a 50-question questionnaire. You answer them all. You send it to us. Carson and I take your responses. We digest it. We compare it to everything else we see. We consult with companies all across the United States. And then we have a one-on-one session with you where we put together a SWOT analysis for you, which is what do we think you need to be doing now in your business? Where are your opportunities? Where are your threats that you need to mitigate for? And we sit one-on-one with you and we go through a whole session when you join. Usually it's $14.97 a month. Then we dropped it. So right now it's $4.97 a month. Tomorrow it goes up to $5.97 a month. There's about 45 people in the group. We'd love to have you. It's a way to take your company from good to great. This session today was like a little blip of what we get into pretty regularly. And if you want to apply, jump online, greenindustrymasterminds.com, or you can text join GIM to the phone number on the thing. And again, it's a private peer group of landscape business owners, just like you, who are trying to figure out how to make more money, work less hours, scale their business, leave a legacy, and have a little fun along the way. If you'd like to join the group, jump online or text us, 248-342-6007. And with that, my slides are done, and I'm happy to answer any questions anyone may have.
That was awesome. Thanks, Chester. A lot of good info.
Yeah, you're welcome. I hope it at least got somebody's gears turning. I mean, there was whatever 20 things on there I said or something. You take 5 of them or 3 of them and really plug it in this month, you'll be separating yourself from the competition. Because I know for a fact, a lot of companies in August just ride. They just ride on their laurels, man. They just coast.
Yeah.
Ivan,
true.
thank you very much. You're very welcome. Hope it was good. I'm watching all my crews rolling back in from the rain.
Mhm.
Sadly parking their rigs for the day. Ivan, on our end, we are prepping for fall. Yeah, me too. And we're actually prepping for winter right now too. It's so hard to be ahead, right? Because you're just working, we're all so busy. But kudos to you, and I think it's a little colder up there, right? But kudos for being in fall preparation mode and winter preparation mode. Going to be our first winter. Cool. That's exciting. Hit us up offline. We'll talk snow. Awesome. Joe Sander, thank you so much. One of our awesome members. Joe runs a company in Ohio, Design Build. Badass.
It was the man.
Yeah. A good friend and great contributor for the group. Joe has helped me and a lot of other people in the group build their install side of their business. He's a whiz.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Good at it.
Yeah. He's good. And he throws a mean pigskin too.
Gotta
Hey,
run,
Kev.
guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for sitting in, Joe.
Hey, Kevin, where are you from? Where are you out of? I don't know if you can hear me.
Kevin Buck.
I don't know if he's still on mute. Might have dropped out there. Cool. So we still got a few people here. Daryl, Ivan, Diana, Mike. Any questions from you guys before we head out?
Q&A.
Is that Daryl Larson?
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, how's it going, man? I think I saw you on our last call too. Is that right? I think.
Yeah, yep.
Last one.
Unfortunately, I had another meeting, so I just sort of jumped on late here on this one.
I hear a chainsaw.
Yeah, you chopping a tree down out there?
Yep, they're cutting something up, dumping the brush trailer. We're rained out for the day too here in Minneapolis, so.
I must have got your rain, man. I think it headed this way next. There might be a separate system.
We called off the guys and then immediately stopped raining, so you know how that goes.
Of
Yeah,
course. Yeah. That's how it works.
it looks like it's done here too, but it's huge puddles everywhere. Just dumped it.
Do you do snow? Do you do snow also, Daryl?
We do snow, yep.
Cool. And then are you residential maintenance in the summertime?
Mostly residential, probably 80-20 residential commercial split.
Okay. Sweet. Very cool.
Yeah.
80-20 on the residential side, you said?
Yeah.
Nice. That's good. Residential business is a good business. How many crews are you running?
6 mowing crews,
Very cool.
600 counts.
Wow.
Got a trimming crew out there too or something? Some landscapers?
Yeah, shrub pruning and shaping and weeding, couple fertilizing weed control crews.
Nice. That's good. How are those guys doing for you? The FERT crews?
Could be better. It's been tough this year with the rain.
Weeds.
Weed control is not great this year.
Yeah, us too. But man, what a profitable endeavor, eh?
Yeah, motivating them has been the challenge lately. It's like going out of town on vacation, but they won't give us an extra few hours to get stuff done to meet our goals. And they don't seem money motivated either. So that's a challenge.
Were they techs from another business?
Nope.
You trained them up internally?
Yep.
Interesting. I thought money would do it.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Might just have to rough them up a little bit in person then. It's the last
Yeah.
resort.
I was thinking, honestly, is some hardball. I mean, you guys don't want to, you know, like, hey, you don't want to put in the extra, we're not going to put in the extra for you, you know?
Yeah, they're consistent, and it kind of gets to a point where it's like, well, unless I want to be out there doing it, how hard do I want to push until we can get somebody else in there, you know?
Yeah. Be careful of that, though. You don't want to get steamrolled over because you think, oh, you know, if they don't do it, I'll have to do it. That's dangerous.
Sure.
Hey Daryl, what software do you use to manage all that?
Service Autopilot.
Oh, that's right. We did talk about this last time, I think.
Yep.
I mentioned that, right?
Yeah, and we talked about the group, and it sounds interesting. Just not ready to quite pull the trigger on that right now. But I like your guys' content. That pay for performance webinar was good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought for your FERC talks was P for P. But you said they're not motivated by money. But P for P, even if they're not motivated by money, well, if they're dragging, they're making less money. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why it caught my attention so much, because it's so relevant, especially with them right now.
Right. Yeah.
Just makes sense to me. Just get your stuff done faster and get out of here and get paid more. I mean, I don't know how you can argue with that.
You would think.
Yeah.
It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, well, maybe they might be motivated by time too. They just want their more time. That P for P could solve that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, Carson.
No, we've been talking about that quite a bit. You guys had some interesting ideas on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We all run crews for a living every day, so well, most of it anyhow.
Well, feel free to reach out to me about Service Autopilot stuff. I think I said that last time, but I'm happy to take a look at it, run my eyes through it if you want. That's just what I do most of the time. Look at those accounts. So
I'm just trying to wrap my head around all the features and everything. So I'll definitely keep you in mind for a resource.
are you pretty new to it?
Yeah, just last November.
Oh man, sorry if you already told me this, but then I do. I don't charge you anything, of course. Just except I'll send you a link or something like that to book a meeting with me, and I'll tell you the stuff that you don't need or you do need. It's a massive software, and so there's some stuff you're like, yeah, this is absolutely what I need, and then some stuff you're like, just toss out. You don't need that.
Cool. Yeah, that's my challenge now, is just figuring out which reports I need, or not knowing exactly what it's capable of. I don't know what options are even there half the time.
Yeah, then let's do it. I'll send you a link. Oh.
Can you send me the recording so I can watch the beginning of this one too?
Yep, do that.
That'd be great, Carson. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thanks for coming.
Yep. You guys have a good one.
You
Yeah.
too.
Thanks, Daryl.
All right, Chester, I guess we'll go ahead and close it out here.
Cool. All right. Appreciate you all. I will see you again soon.
Okay, see everybody.
Later.